Udah ya, kita mulai ya. Let's welcome the first speaker from the opening government team.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Thank you so much for attending this class to hear our debate in here. So our motion is this House believes that the government's involvement in disciplining teenagers through conscriptions violates children's rights. Before we deep into our debate, I will explain first about these motions. So government involvement is straight programs that aim disciplines and among teenagers and kids. Conscriptions is like military service during wartime, and the children's rights is like emphasize protections and development from government itself. So we as the pro of this debate, we really didn't agree with that, because placing teenagers into military conscriptions, it's really bad, because military system is not for kids or teenagers, because this is made for adults. Okay, this is made for adults, and not only that, this system also like ignores the individual's needs, but also visitors their fundamental rights in their problems. Not only that, teenagers may require guidance and structures, and they don't need to be harsh or be subjected authoritarian, and this can potentially making their stress among the study and the military itself. So what I wanted to say here first is conscriptions can violations of children's rights. Children's is not to be forced for follow the system military hard, and then also the UNCRC said about every child has the right things to, like free development or personality, and then access education, and also protects themselves from violence and abuse. They also published some articles talked about that. It's like Article 19 is like emphasize protections. They says like all forms of physical or mental violence. So children have to be safe from that for mental violence. And then for Article 28, they say like they guarantee the right of education. Children have get their educations, and education must be right and they're not be harsh or kasar. And then so many countries like Burundi and Myanmar, they have their own child conscriptions in their country, and this has been condemned and is aimed by international as a form of abuse and exploitations, even if labeled as a discipline, because it's really wrong, and this is not right from the people, because children have to be safe and have to be loved and menjaga themselves by people, adults, and this is why the children itself have to be safe and not for a violation of children's rights. Not only that, conscription itself can make a kid have a psychological stress or trauma. It's not only like something that we think like, oh, they're kids, they're teenagers, they can improve themselves. Most of parents say like they're not thinking about anything. They cannot be stressed because they're just follow us. I mean, they didn't think about the child itself can be stressed. Even they're not earning money, because some people of parents say you didn't make money, you feel stressed about that. I mean, this is very wrong, because child have their own feelings, they have their own personality that can make their fight with them. So the conscription itself can make psychological trauma. It's not only that, because military style training are very strict and very intense in there, and this can make stress or maybe teenagers, like the children. And this is have a study of that. So I have a study of published in Journal of Adolescence in 2017. This is found that youth in both camp styles reforms programs showed higher levels of anxiety and stress than those counseling-based programs. This is can improve, like in the military itself, it's very making people stress. It's also from adults. Can you imagine like kids or teenagers in there? How can there must be there have to be stress with the situation in there, with the right people in there? They feel like, oh my god, this is so hard. I cannot stand in here. And can you imagine like your children, your child, your kid, your son or your daughter in the place? Maybe some of you maybe think like maybe they cannot be someone who really into that. I mean, there's childish, like they say childish, and then people say like it's okay to go to their military and to them to there, to them to military. But I think it is very wrong. Maybe you can go with your education in home and not in the military, because it's very hard for them. Most of them saying like that. Oh, she's very childish and he's very childish. We have to go to the military and told them to education in there. But they didn't know what makes them childish, right? I mean, what the reason why they're being childish? Maybe because their parents didn't solve them every time. Maybe they're always work and then they just blah blah blah, and this making the child itself is not very safe in their own home. That's why they're making some childish things to like guide some people to care with themselves with that. So I think what they said about military and is very good for people, for children or teenagers. I really didn't agree with that. I really didn't agree with this. Thank you so much.
Wait. Now let's welcome the first speaker of the opposition team. Woo!
Good morning, honorable judges, fellow debaters, and everyone in this room. Today I stand here as the first speaker for the opening opposition to strongly disagree with the motion. This House believes that the government's involvement in disciplinary teenagers through conscription violates children's rights. In this debate, I will explain why we believe that the government can be involved in helping teenagers become more disciplined through national service or conscription without violating their rights. In fact, we believe that conscription, when done correctly, can help teenagers grow into responsible and capable adults. So let's start making sure we all also understanding the key terms in this debate. The first, conscription means that the government asks or requires people to join national service. This can be military service, but it can also include civil or community service like helping in a hospital, cleaning the environment, or working in national project. And second, teenagers are people between the age of 13 and 19. But most national service programs are for those age 16 or to 18 or older. Not for very young teenagers. And the third, children's rights include things like the right to go to school, the right to safety, and the right to be protected from harm. These rights are important and we fully support them. So, the proposition will probably tell you that conscription is bad because it's force and hurts. But we believe that conscription is done. Let me now give you three main reasons why we say that government involvement through conscription does not violate children's rights. The first, conscription can help teenagers learn discipline, responsibility, and life skills. Many teenagers today face challenges like skipping school, spending too much time to online, or not having clear goals. A national service program can help them learn how to wake up early and follow a routine, how to work with a team, how to respect rules, and how to lead and take responsibility. These are all important life skills that are not always taught in school. In countries like Singapore, young people take part in national service when they turn 18. They join not only the military but also the police or civil defense. It is seen as a way to help young people grow up with a strong sense of duty and pride. Conscription does not have to be violent or harmful. It can be a structured learning program just like school, but with more physical and team activities. It is not about hurting young people, it is about guiding them. And the second, Hajar said, the military is make learners stress. But I think not all conscription is not military, and not all conscription is dangerous. The other team might say that conscription send children into war. But let us be clear, international law, like the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, says that children under 18 cannot be sent into combat. Most countries follow this rule. Many countries also offer civil service option. Teenagers can choose to help in hospitals, do environmental projects, help during natural disasters, or working in education programs. These jobs are not violent. And also, many national service programs are not even mandatory for teenagers under 18. They are voluntary or done with parental permission. This shows that government involvement through conscription does not always violate rights. If it is done with care, with the right age group, and for the right purpose. And the third, national service can help reduce problems among teenagers and build a stronger society. In many countries, teenagers face problems like drug use, street violence, and lack of direction. Some of them drop out of school or get into trouble. When teenagers from different backgrounds, rich or poor, city or village, join the same national program, they learn to understand each other. This builds unity and friendship, which make the country stronger. And they may argue that conscription is force and hurt. Anyone is wrong, but let's be realistic. Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's welcome the second speaker from the opening government.
Yes. Oh my god. My name is Debat. I am the deputy So regarding conscription on children, I'm going to talk about its legality, especially concerning the law number 34 of 2014, which emphasizes four principles in children's aspect or children's nature. And the first part is children is non-discriminative. Means children cannot be discriminated in any way. And I believe that this formulate that conscription means that they are discriminating these children because they are labeling these children as well. What is that? Naughty children. Yeah, we cannot just say that these children are naughty children because we don't know what's going on in their mind, and that's the problem in this country. We lack the awareness of the emotional or the underlying issues of a child's mind because everything has a source, right? Then the second principle, which is the best interest of the child. Well, it's not. A child is meant to be grown, to learn, to be educated. And I believe conscription is a form of strict education, which is really unfit for the children, because it violates their interest as a child. And then the third principle, which is the right to life. They have rights to choose what they are going to do in life. And because this is a forced procedure or a forced program by the government, because of a mere small any kind of behavioral issues that they label as naughty or something like that, it violates this principle. And then the fourth principle is to respect or respect for opinion of the children. Well, where's the respect? We are literally putting them in a involuntary program. Basically, they don't want it, but they are being put in it because they are labeled as naughty. People don't hear what's going on in their mind. People doesn't want to take, and they want what the government only wants is the conscription. They believe that it is a quick way or the best practical way to reduce these behavioral issues of the children, which is direct violation of their own opinion or all of this principle within the law. And then I'm going to support the law because it is included in law number 39 of 1999, which concerns the human rights. And then lastly, law number 29 of 2002, which concerns child protection. Yeah, conscription for children basically directly violates all of this. And then I want to emphasize how they frame this program as a rehabilitation or character building, which is not. I mean, by its nature, again, it's an involuntary decision by the state to put a bunch of children they label as naughty children, or children with behavioral issues in a strict program that, let's say, some really program their mind, something like that. And that's not good. Because I want to differentiate between rehabilitation and indoctrination. Because they are basically, again, anything that is involuntarily decided, especially upon these poor children, is something I call indoctrination. Because they are taught, because they are teaching these children to fear punishment, to be forcefully disciplined. And they call that as a character building. Well, for me, or let's say, but let's be real. In general, it's not. It's not. Okay? Because building a pattern of punishment recognition on children is really bad for their psychological aspects. Because rehabilitation, by its nature, is about support, either from the family or the community, in listening to their problems. And then it's very, very sensitive to their psychological aspect. They have to know what's going on in their mind. That's why rehabilitation, that's why we cannot connect, we cannot relate conscriptions, any form of this a strict program in the educating these children into from being to fix their behavioral issues to becoming something better, some kind of rehabilitation, because it's not. It doesn't have all the aspect of rehabilitation by its nature, because rehabilitation is about listening, it's about supporting them, which conscription or this program by the governor, directly violates not just law, but what it's framed as, character building or rehabilitation, which is not. And then, let's be real, they are involuntarily put under this strict program, which again is direct violation to their rights and opinions, interests, and it discriminates these children because they only see these people. I mean, like, this is a collective country, so it's hard for these children to be put in such a strict or such a punitive program. Because again, every people, not just children, every people have the rights to choose, have the rights to decline, to oppose all of these things. And the fact that this is an involuntary, and the fact that the government easily label these children with issues as the right contestant, right people to be put under such a program is very, very wrong by its nature. It is an involuntary, it's a violation against rights, the rights to choose, the rights to have opinion about it, everything.
Okay, thank you for the second speaker from the government team, and now I ask the second speaker for the opportunity to define what you said before about teenagers can be put in the conscription. Conscription start at the age of 18, and age of 18 called teenager or child. If you said preparative child, then it starts from age of elementary school until the high school. But here we talk about teenagers, and conscription start at the age of 18, not at the age of elementary school. And conscription can be happen in a country where there is a war, where there is a conflict with them, such as Yemen, Afghan, Myanmar, or maybe Syria. Why the teenager must be in the conscription? Because in the country, in the war country, the adults go to war. The government sent all adults to protect the country, and now you can see in the Palestine versus Israel. Israel is full of armed soldiers, and Palestinian only there's more child and woman and old men there, only Hamas, and that Hamas is not as much as the people of Palestine, maybe only thousands of them. Right now, Hamas try to free Palestine from Israel. And now how about when all of the Hamas die? What's gonna happen to the country of Palestine? Will they survive? No. The enemy will kill Israel. Without kill Israel, they will kill all of the child if there's no one to fight. That's why conscription must be happening in the country of war, so they can protect
May I ask?
themselves.
Okay, you said about Palestine and extremist rivals, and we said about conscription right now. So do you think they didn't know there were gonna be war in there? So what do you think? There have to be prepared like Indonesia? Because we don't know if we get in war in the future, right? So if you said we have to be conscription at this time, so do you think every single country have to be war for the conscription?
talk about Indonesia, Indonesia here have 100,000 of soldiers. Because of that, there is no conscription here in Indonesia. Because there's full arm of soldiers, not like in the country of war, who has a little bit of civilization. Not like Indonesia, we have 250 million people here. We don't have a war too, because we have a good relationship with others. But we in the country of war, they must have conscription because of that. How they will protect their country? Now, how will they protect their country from the enemies? And if the enemies take their country, what happens to them? You know, enemies doesn't have like pride like that, because they want to capture the country. Maybe the civilian of the country who lose will become slave, like now in Palestine, like that.
Yes. I mean, like you said about Palestine and Israel, right? You said like they're a country of war, but they didn't think about in the future, right? I mean, they didn't expect that there were gonna be war. So what do you mean by saying like Indonesia before they said the government said like they will making like military for people in Indonesia? People don't know about that, right? You said like Indonesia have a lot of citizens and blah blah blah. But Indonesia itself, they wanted to go making some military. So what do you think about that? I think I didn't understand with that because you said like Israel and Palestine got in war, and I think it's not the point of what you explain about the.
It is said about the conscription in Kang Deddy Mulyadis. I want to say that in Kang Deddy Mulyadis is not conscription, as I want to say that's the military rehabilitation for the students who has a problem, not problem from himself, maybe broken home like that. They put in the military, not in the military exactly. They put on rehabilitation. They were trained to be disciplined. I want to say they trained to be disciplined. They trained to be how to be independent person, how to increase themselves in the Canadian military conscription. Not conscription, but I can't say like military civilization to say about that. But from respect to the topic, conscription too. Yeah, they preparation of country to be in war, but there's some. But conscription happen in a country like I said, where there's a war. For example, like I want to take from the South Korea, they must have a conscription because they have a little civilization and they are not, I say, they don't have many soldiers like us in Indonesia. Indonesia, like we have thousands, but in Korea they doesn't have as much as we are. And they now are facing with North Korea, even though right now there's no conflict between them, but maybe in the future the conflict will be happening again, so that's why they made conscription. But in Indonesia, we doesn't need that. Like I said before, we have a lot of soldiers who are ready to fight. We don't need to make the people who doesn't need to be war to be in conscription in Indonesia. That's why. Thank you.
Wait, please.
not discipline, it is mental hurt. No power, no voice. Let's be honest, in military programs, development has full power, and teenagers have none. Usually, this program targets teenagers from poor families or hard backgrounds. Um, they can say no. They can complain. And they can ask for help. If something bad happens, like being yelled at or hurt, they cannot report it. And even if they do, people often say, it's for your own good. That's right. Every soul has the right to feel safe, the right to be heard, and the right to be treated with respect. In conscription, these rights are often ignored. Uh, the rare followers are taught. Conscription is not just about rules and marching. It can hurt a teenager's mind, fear, and future. Even if the system like need an organization, it teaches the wrong followers. Fear, silence, obeying without thinking. Is that what we can young people to learn? There are better ways. We agree that teenagers need help and guidance, but there are many better and sober ways. Uh, but they are But three are many better and sober ways. Maybe counseling, character education, and support from a teacher. And even if conscription looks safe, the fellows inside are still harmful to teenagers' mental health. Let me end with this. Teenagers are not soldiers. They need care, not pressure. They need guidance, not punishment. Conscription might look like isolation, but it's actually the best way to treat children and teens. It takes away their rights, their voice, and their chance to grow well. That's why we from the closing government strongly support this mission. Maybe?
Okay. Thank you for the Okay, so let's welcome the first speaker from the closing opposition.
Thank you very much. My name is Rafia Meniawati, and I'm from closing opposition team. And I will start my statement with if you say children is still learning and growing, and it's right because we know that it's children. It's how to say still learning and growing. But now we talk about teenager. Teenager and children, it's still different if we know that. And now we talk about teenager. It's mean like 18 years. So if you say children, it's we talk about teenager. Okay. So from that, we from a government opposite team, it's not agree with your statement. Okay, government involvement in conscription for teenagers is not a violation of children's rights, but rather a responsible act to foster discipline, social responsibility, and patriotism among the young. Okay. We are from opposition believe that conscription is a constructive initiative, a way for the government to build character, discipline, and national identity among our young. It is not a violation, but a form of national care and responsibility. And you say it's a teenager, it's not a shoulder. Yes, that's right, it's teenager. I mean like we prepare from now the teenager. We give them how to be responsibility, how to make their discipline. And modern day construction is no longer about brutal military training. In many democratic countries, construction has evolved into a program that teaches discipline, leadership, teamwork, and moral values. Teenagers learn to wake up early, value time, cooperate with others, and build both physical and mental resilience. This is not a violation of their right, but rather a practical form of education that schools often fail to deliver. And proper construction programs are regulated under human rights standards, including the Convention on the Right of the Child, or CRC. There are age limits, physiological monitoring and supervision mechanism in place. The government is not forcing minors into harsh military service. It is offering a structured environment that promotes responsibility without neglecting the safety and well-being of the participant. Okay, let's face the reality. Today's teenagers face serious social problems, loss of direction, lack of purpose, exposure to toxic digital cultures, and growing disconnection from national identity. A well-designed.
May I ask? So you said about identity for national of themselves. So when you told your kid to go to the military itself, so how if they lost their own self in their military? Because in military is very very strange and very very hard for them. And how if they lost their own self when they're looking for their identity in there? They can change their identity and they cannot prove themselves or blah blah blah. What do you think about that?
I think the military is not hard because, like I said before, it's not a brutal military. In construction, they will teach how to discipline, how to responsibility, and I think it's not hard in a teenager, to the teenager. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Tunggu beberapa detik.
A well-designed construction program can serve as a solution, not a punishment. It gives them structure, responsibility, and
Yes.
okay.
Oh, boleh. Silakan.
You say that you lose their own self, right? But I think when we go to Barak, I read a lot of articles and a lot of them feel very comfortable in Barak since they don't have enough space in their own house. So I think lose themselves is not something that it's called
Yeah, that's it.
yeah, that's it.
Okay.
It's not something
Okay, like I said before, if imagine that our children now, maybe they are bullying their friends, maybe they, like we found in Indonesia, especially, so many cases about our children that they are do some crazy, they do like bullying their friends. Something they kill.
Wait. Wait. Okay. Let's welcome the whip from the government team.
Okay, morning everyone.
Morning.
Okay, as a closing government team, I strongly believe that okay. Before that, we must take a look. Teenagers are still children, you know. First, we must remember that teenagers are still children or they are still growing. They are made mistake. Everyone made mistake, right? Instead of helping them, the government is putting them to military place that with the rules, hard training, and violence. This is not discipline them. This is punishment them. Because they are children, they are not deserve to be punished like that. Just because they are having bad behavior. So second is this kind of action makes teenagers feel like they are criminals. But they are not, because they are still children. They are made mistake. Maybe they are from broken families that make them have bad behavior. Then maybe they struggle with school or life. So conscription or military place that doesn't solve that. It only teaches them to follow the rules, follow the orders. It's not because they understand what's the right. So it makes children damage. It makes long-term damage, which is affect very serious. Teenagers who force into the military often experience stress, depression, or trauma. They are feel disconnect with their families and society. And instead of becoming the better people to make them better version of themselves, they they maybe become more angry, more depressed, or maybe they are more confused. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are not talking about one or two generation, one or two students, one or two children. So we are talking about the whole of generation. So if we use military conscription as a punishment to them, we are breaking their future. We are ignoring their rights because it harms their mental health. Maybe we don't know. Because a lot of children has a different background and has different sort to make them be a good person. So, as closing government, I will say this will clearly help teenagers grow. Do not punish them like soldiers, because teenagers are still child. They are not soldiers. They are not men. They are not adult yet. They are still grow. They make mistakes. So what I try to say here, instead of punish them to conscription military, we can also we can talk to them with face to face to talk to them what they want to say, what they want to express their emotion. So guys, to put them to conscription military is not too it's not too, because they are child, right? It's not solution to put them to military. So here I am to speak as a closing government to not punish them to military because they are children. So yeah, maybe that's all.
That's all?
Yeah,
Okay,
thank
thank you for the whip from the government team. So let's hear the last speaker, which is the whip from the opposition team.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening to all of us. Opponents of the debate that we appreciate as well as the happy audience. First of all, let us say thank you for the opportunity given to us to deliver the closing of the opposite position in this debate motion. This House believes that the government involvement in disciplinary measures through conscription violates children's rights. B. The opposite team reject this motion because we use that the government's involvement in adolescents' disciplinary development through the violation of children's rights, but the real form of the state's concern for the future of its young generation. First one is the real context of children's rights. We need to clarify together. Children's rights are not just about being free from violence or exploitation. Children's rights also include the right to education, character development, protection, and self-potential development. The military conscription that we support here is known as armed conscription that force teenagers to the battlefield. by the program to develop the skip line, responsibility, and love for the homeland that is carried out with safe, educational, and age-appropriate curriculum. Is it a violation to give systematic disciplinary education to teenagers? In fact, it is a form of long-term protection. The second one, the role of the state, directing, not punishing. The state has a responsibility to prepare the young generation to be ready to face future challenges. When the state is involved in this process through a disciplinary conscription program, it is not a form of repressive intervention, but a form of national instruction and coaching. Look at countries like South Korea, Singapore, or Israel. Conscription there not only creates a strong defense, but also produces citizens who are disciplined. Teenager and mentally taught, many conscription graduates in these countries actually state that the experience helped them become stronger people and ready to face the real world. Is it a violation of rights, or is it a form of siding with the future of children? The last one is the positive impact of military service for teenagers. We do not close our eyes that some see military service as a form of pressure, but we have to look at the right intention, system, and implementation. In the version we propose conscription is not a punishment, but a character-building opportunity. Through physical activities, teamwork, leadership, training, and discipline, teenagers are given space to recognize their potential, build a sense of social responsibility, and have high national values. At a time when many teenagers are exposed towards their country, this program is actually a much needed counterable. And the conclusion is, the government is not a violator but a trainer. We believe that government involvement in this disciplinary conscription program is not a form of violation of children's rights, but a manifestation of the state's responsibility to its next generation. This training version of compulsory military service can be a solution to form teenagers who are more prepared to face global challenges. The government is not the right violates. The government is the facilitator of the future. Therefore, we expressly declare that we reject this motion. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, because the debate is over, we will hear one review from the audience. Oh? Okay, wait.
Okay, so who is the opposition sih ini ya?
No, ini.
Oh yang ini. Oke, berarti kalian pro ya. So I would like to.
Name, please.
My name is Rifka. Kalian Kaliana. Ini juga.
Enggak.
Opposition sih ini ya.
Yes.
So I would like to from the government team. Berarti kalian supporting ya? Okay. So ada yang ngomongin trauma nggak kalian? Kita melawan.
Mereka nggak terima barak, mereka terima barak.
Iya kan? Kalian nggak terima barak kan? Ya, jadi kayak menurut saya talking about trauma is important, but you also need strong logic and evidence. Use international document like UN conventions or for Rachel atau dari apa namanya UNICEF atau mungkin to support your points. Yes, itu yang pertama.
And then
Terus kayak I think that some teams need to focus on how conceptions teach discipline and responsibility-nya juga. Terus few of you kayak forget to talk about the possible risk or abuse and then ignoring it makes your argument tuh kayak lebih ignore gitu dan careless. Kayak gitu aja. I think that's all.
Okay, thank you for Rifko. And then maybe I'll give you some overview from your debate because it will impact to your grades, right? So the first thing is Hajar is talking about the forceful stress, and that how I like how Hajar bring the debate, like how these kids that go to Barak is happen to labeled as nowadays kids, but people or the government a lack of pay attention to why they are labeled as that, as nowadays, why they are acting like that, why they have that kind of things in their journey of find their true identity in their teenager's life. And then Hajar bring that to this debate, and then Hajar also say that this is also the forceful, stressful, and then Barak will bring them not discipline but repression to this to their behavior and all. But Hajar not give the parameter which is you should bring to this debate. I mean like you should talk about which country you mean this Barak things should happen and which country should not happen, or which country that should we talk about in this debate, or which kids that you talk about in this debate. Like Refi already bring the teenagers, and why Refi could bring the teenagers in this debate, because there's no parameter from the government team. And then Ayat said, which is the duty, responsible, and how they should learn about responsibility in the Barak itself, and how Barak would teach them the disciplinary more better than how the education teach them. And then but Radit tackle it down, which is he said that it is not teach them discipline, it is repression of the behavior or the mindset of the child itself. And Radit also tackled down the opposition team by saying that punishment is not good for the children because they are still growing, they are make a failure and etc. And it's not a good thing for the children itself. And then Juni bring another different things in this debate, which is he brings about war and discipline. Why he could bring war and discipline? Because there's no parameter, again, there's no parameter from the government, and we could not blame him for that, because he could bring anything to this debate if there's no parameter from the government itself. And then Jundi actually don't tackle anything down from the government. And then Tia bring about, actually Tia repetitive from the opening government. Tia just bring the they are need the counseling, not the military. It is the point from Tia that not repetitive from the government, from the opening. I'm sorry. And then Revi talks about teenagers. He brings the parameter in this debate. The causing team bring the parameter in this debate, and the closing team brings mechanism in this debate, like how we should talk about the teenagers, which is 18, and then above that, not below that age, and then how those teenagers in those age are finding their identity, finding their true selves and all, and they have to get a guidance to go through that journey. But Hajar here, Hajar's POI is talking about, but there are no any guarantee that go to Barak could make them find their true identity when inside there is just forceful and stress and all. And how could you guarantee that they could find their true identity in that Barak itself? And Ravi said, Ravi tackled that POIs down, so that's not gonna get the point, because Ravi already said that, oh yes, because in Barak, they're just disciplined, and there's no abusive or violence things in that Barak, because there will be monitor and all. And then Rivka's POI said, there are a lot of articles that say children from Barak program give comfortable and pride because they have no parents at home and at all. But Hajar's point at first, at her speech, is already tackled it down, because Hajar already said how these children to be naughty have reason behind that, because they are seeking attention. Hajar said that these children seeking for attention. These children have no role of their parents, have no role of the teachers itself and all. And why go to Barak could make them worse. Why go to Barak would make the parents think that, oh, it is the responsible for the Barak itself and not responsible for these children to be naughty and all. So the role of the parents itself would last if this Barak go or exist or involve in the children's life itself. So if you ask me who's win this debate, it is the Albanese government team. Woo!